All right, and we are live for the girls OHSAA Division 2 Northwest District, coming to you from Lanes in Lima, Ohio. So far, you might notice that we've been able to increase the quality of the hopefully throughout the day. Starting out on lane 15, we've got Coldwater. Lane 16, Napoleon. And here's Heather with her first shot. And she starts out with 9, leaving a 10 pin. We've got Willard on lane 7. Galleon on lane 18. St. Mary's Memorial on lane 19. Swanton on lane 20. Perkins moving down to lane 23. Crestline on lane 24. Fort Recovery, lane 25. Wauseon is on lane 26. Eastwood on lane 27. And Lakota on lane 28. And Heather was able to pick up and convert that 10-pin spare. Coldwater left a 610 on their first shot. They pick up the spare. Ella up now for Napoleon, 16. Ella Fox's first shot, and she ends up leaving a split, an 8-10. That looked like a good ball. Coldwater a strike on lane 15. If somebody can give me a shout out and let me know that the audio is good with it cracking on yesterday. Hopefully that isn't the case today. Ella with her spare attempt. Oh, nice attempt. She picks up hard spare to convert. We've got Coldwater's third bowler on lane 15 now. That one hooks a lot late, but it crosses over the head pin, carries for a strike. We've got Carly Hollenbrink now up for Napoleon. Sheep gets a strike. For the shout out, audio's still good. Coldwater's is up. And they leave a 7-pin. Now we got Jalen Rupel on 16 for Napoleon. Jalen shot go. And she starts out with a strike. Nice ball. Coldwater spare. Coldwater now, they're final for the first frame, and they finish the first frame with a strike. The first frame, first game, does so with a strike. Heather now up to start the second frame. And she leaves a solid 10-pin. That was a good pocket shot. Just didn't carry quite as much as it needed. Cole's first frame. She hits a little bit heavy, ends up leaving a 6-pin. Heather now, spare attempt. That looks good. That's a spare. Coldwater, spare attempt for their first bowler. And she covers that one. Now we got Ella Fox up again. That ball hooks late, ends up coming up heavy, leaves the 6-10. Coldwater, second bowler. She crosses the head pin, ends up missing the head pin, leaves the 1-3-6. Ella, nice spare attempt there. Covers it. Carly Hohen brings up now for Napoleon. That looks good. There's a strike for Carly. It's 2 in a row now for her. Coldwater can bowl her spare attempt. And she picks that up. Done. Brings up Jalen now for Napoleon. Gets a tap out of the gutter. 10 pin for the strike. Coldwater's third bowler with a strike on lane 7. That's 2 in a row now for her. Spencer up now for Napoleon. Light, 2-8. Spencer now, attempt. Looks good, got it. Nice ball. Coldwater. Can't convert the spare, gets 1. Their final bowler up the first game. Comes in a little heavy, but gets the carry in a row now for her. Moving on, third frame, first game. This is Heather McMahon, lane 16. That one broke hard, Came up across the head pin, leaves. Coldwater now, their first bowler. Gets us out of the gutter to tap the 10 for the strike. Heather now, spare 15. Gets it. Coldwater, second bowler. Swung that one out wide. It comes back, hits the pocket for a strike. Ella now up, third frame. That one hit the touch light, ends up leaving the 2 pin. She gets 9. Coldwater hits heavy, drives through the center, leaves the 4-7-10 split. Ella now, spare attempt. Picks that one up. Coldwater trying to get it. And she picks up 1. For Napoleon. Pocket hit, but it leaves the 10. Came in just a little flat. Coldwater gets the 7 pin to fall late, leaving just the 10. They get 9. That's their 4th bowler. Carly now, spare attempt. Picks that up. Coldwater with a strike over on lane 15. Jalen with a strike. There's something going on with the Coldwater score. It's like lane didn't reset after spare, so they'll have to fix the score. Coldwater with 9, left the 7 pin. Spencer up now, lane 16. Nice ball. Strike for Spencer. And Coldwater converts their spare. All right, moving into the 4th frame. Heather's ball picks up, hits the head pin, leaves the 6-10. Heather picks spare. Coldwater picks up their 16. Strike for Coldwater over on lane 16. Ella comes in just a little light, leaves the 2-5. Ella, spare attempt. Looks good, picks it up. Coldwater leaving a 7-pin down on lane number 16. Carly leaving a 7-pin on lane 15. Slid right in front of the 7-pin, but it wouldn't knock it down. Coldwater gives the 7 a nudge on the way by, picks up the spare. Nice conversion. Coldwater leaving a 7-pin on lane 16. Jalen up for Napoleon. That ball comes up a little bit heavy, ends up leaving the 6-pin. 10 gets taken out late by a sliding pin across the back of the lane. If the audio doesn't improve here by the end of the first game, we'll try switching to a different set of mics. Jalen, spare attempt. She's got that. Coldwater, spare. Spencer now up for Napoleon. Good looking ball, but it lit. Ends up leaving the 7-9. Water hits a little bit heavy, leaves the 9-pin. Spencer will try to get one here, maybe hit it thin and slide it over into the 7. Just got to be careful not to cut it too thin and miss it completely. Nope, she's going to try and get the 7. Coldwater picks up the Heather up now. 6. Leaves 6-10. Coldwater with a strike. Coldwater. Leave 7-10. Ala up for Napoleon. Ends up leaving a 4-7. Coldwater spare. Picks that up. Out. She's got. Coldwater with their third. Carly now up for Napoleon. And a strike for Carly. Coldwater with a split, leaving a 4-7-10. Jalen up now. There's a strike for Jalen. Picks up 2 out of the 3. Spencer up now. And a strike for Spencer. All right, I'm going to switch out and see if I can use the other set of mics. All right, we got Jalen up. And Jalen leaves a 9-pin, can't get the last pin to kick it out. Coldwater with a strike on lane 16. Jalen picks up her spare. Coldwater with another strike. That's 2 in a row for their 5th bowler. Thanks for the shout out on the audio. Spencer up now, lane 15. And she ends up leaving the 2-4. Spencer, spare attempt. Picks that one up. Nicely done. Heather now up to start the 7th frame for Napoleon. Heather with a nice strike. Can I get a hoo-wah? Coldwater ball hooks the last minute, hits the head pin, leaves a split, the 6-7. Now we got Ella. She had a strike in the last frame. And another nice ball. That's 2 strikes in a row now for Ella. Coldwater's 3rd bowler's up. Or I'm sorry, trying to take care of the spare. Nice attempt. Picks up 1 out of the 2. That was her 1st bowler, my bet. Carly up now for Napoleon. Carly's ball's away. And another solid 10-pin for Carly. She's throwing the ball well. It's hitting the pocket. Coldwater's ball pulls up hard at the last minute, hits the head pin, leaves the 6-10. Carly, spare attempt. She covers it. Coldwater, spare attempt. That's got it. Good spare. Jalen will be up next for Napoleon on lane 16. Good ball for a strike. Can I get another hoo-ha? We're going to have a re-rack on 16. The head pin decided to fall down. Coldwater, their third bowler, gets 9, leaves the, looks like the 2-pin. Now Spencer notices the pin's not there. Coldwater, spare attempt. That's got it. Nicely done. Now Spencer's got all the pins. Nice ball for a strike for Spencer. Coldwater getting ready to finish this. Nope, this is their fourth bowler, my bad. Fourth bowler gets a strike. That makes 2 in a row now for her. Coldwater, their last bowler, leaves a solid 10. Coldwater, spare attempt. Nicely done. Heather, first ball of the 8th frame is a strike. That's 2 in a row now for her. Coldwater leaving the 6-10 on lane 16. Ella up again, 8th frame, lane 15. She lets that one go. Comes up just a little heavy. Leaves the 6-10. Coldwater with their spare attempt over on lane 16. Picks up the 6-10. Ella now on lane 15. And she's got the 6-10. Coldwater's second bowler now, coming off of a spare in the last frame. That ball hits heavy, ends up leaving the 3, 6, 9, 10. She gets 6. Carly up, lane 15 for Napoleon. Good hit, but it leaves a split, the 8-10. Coldwater, spare attempt. She picks up 2. Carly now, trying to get at least 1 here, and that's what she does. Girls just need to stay focused, one frame at a time. All right, we've got Jalen at the line, lane 15. Coldwater just had a strike from their third bowler over on lane 16. And a nice ball from Jalen for a strike. And another strike from Coldwater. That makes 3 in a row for the fourth bowler, with strikes in the 6th, 7th, and 8th frames. Now we got Spencer up. Spencer's ball drifts just a little high. She ends up leaving a 4-pin. Coldwater gets them all to fall. That's a strike for their last bowler to close out the 8th frame. Spencer, spare attempt, covers it easily. Girls look good picking up their spares today. Heather up, 9th frame, first individual game. Remember, today there'll be 3 individual games, followed by 6 Bakers. And top 3 teams will move on to state. And another solid 10-pin for Heather. Coldwater, that one drifts high, ends up leaving the 3-6-10. Heather's spare attempt. Got it. Now that brings up Ella. But first we got Coldwater's spare attempt. Lane 15. And she picks that one up. Nicely done. All right, Ella takes her place at the line. Lane 16. Lets that one go. That one drifted just a little high, ends up leaving a 4-pin. Coldwater comes in just a little bit light. They leave a 4-pin. No. Ella picks up her spare. Yeah, it looks like a 4 for Coldwater. Coldwater picks up their spare. Carly drifts a little bit high, ends up leaving a 4-pin. Coldwater now. That one comes in light. She picks up 5. Leaves the 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. Carly's got her spare. Coldwater, spare attempt. Covers that one, nicely done. Jalen steps up now, lane 16 for her 9th frame. She's got 2 strikes working. Make that 3 strikes. Can I get a hoo-ah? Coldwater now. Comes in light. Ends up leaving a 2-4-5. Spencer now with a spare working in the 8th frame. She'll wait for the bowler to her right. Now she's ready. Spencer, nice ball for a strike for her. Coldwater swings that one out wide. She'll pick up 1 out of the 3. Coldwater will close out the 9th frame here and does so with a strike. That's 2 in a row for their 5th bowler. Now we're coming into the 10th frame for the first game. Heather gets ready. That one drifts a little bit high, ends up leaves a 6-10. Coldwater's ball hits the pocket for a strike. Heather, spare attempt. And she picks it up. She'll get 1 more. Coldwater, 2nd ball, 10th frame for their first bowler. Another strike. 2 strikes in the 10th. Heather, last ball, 10th frame, comes in light, gets 8. And she finishes with a 193, I think. One 195. Well, she had 175 in the 9th, so it should be 193, I think. Ella leaves the 3-6-10. Coldwater, their first bowler, last ball, 10th frame. And that's a good place to leave a 7-10 split, is at the end of the frame. And she finishes with, looks like a 183. Ella picks up the spare. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That wasn't the first bowler. That was her second bowler. That was an unfortunate break then, leaving a 7-10. The first bowler finished with 3 strikes to finish with a 183. Their second bowler picks up the 10 pin, and that bowler finishes with a 180. Ella, last ball, 10th frame, gets 9, and she finishes with a 187. Carly now up for Napoleon, 10th frame. She's got a spare working in the 9th. And she starts the 10th with a strike. Coldwater starts the 10th with a strike for their third bowler. Carly now, second ball, drifts high and ends up leaving the 3-6. Coldwater, their second ball, and another strike. Carly picks up the spare to finish out the 10th. She finishes with a 204. Coldwater finished with a 7 and finishes with a 199 for their third bowler. Jalen now. That one's going to drift high. She ends up leaving the 6-10. Coldwater comes in light, ends up missing the head pin, leaves the 1-2-4-6-10. Jalen, spare ball. She covers it. She gets one more. Coldwater picks up 2 to finish it out. That bowler was a 163. Coldwater's fifth bowler's got 2 strikes working, an 8th and the 9th. Comes in heavy, leaves the 9 pin. Jalen gets ready for her last ball, 10th frame. And leaves the 4-9, which is a good place to leave it. And she finishes with a 235. Nice game, Jay. Coldwater picked up their spare. This is her last ball in the 10th. Comes in heavy, picks up 7 and more additional. And she'll finish with a 223. So unofficially, I've got Coldwater finishing with 948. Spencer got 9 on her first ball, working on a strike in the 10th, or a strike in the 9th, I'm sorry. Spencer picks up the spare. Spencer with a potential 188 game if she can strike out here. And a strike for Spencer. So she'll finish with a 188. Napoleon finishes with a total of 1,007 pins, unofficially. All right, Heather's up to start the second game. Lane 15 comes in high, gets a little kick, takes out the 6 pin, makes that a much easier spare, leaving just the 4-7. Coldwater leaving the 6-10. Heather now, spare attempt. She picks that up. Ella up now to start her second game. Nice looking ball, but it leaves the 4 pin. Coldwater picks up their spare. Coldwater leaving a 7-10 split. Carly up now for Napoleon. Nice ball for a strike from Carly. Coldwater trying to pick up at least one here. Picks up the 10 pin. Jalen up now. And she leaves a 7-pin. Might have come in just a little bit light. Coldwater with a nice ball for a strike. Jalen, 7-pin conversion coming. Oh, she pulled that one, missed it. Spencer now. Leaves a solid 10. Good pocket hit. Just didn't get enough carry to take out the 10. Coldwater picks up their spare over on lane 16. Spencer now. Spare conversion. And she loses that one to the right. That's 2 opens for the Wildcats now. Coldwater with a strike. That's their 5th bowler. Close out the first frame. Heather now, lane 16. That comes in a little bit light, leaves a 2-8. Coldwater leaves a 10-pin, lane 15. Got to be careful not to chop this split. You got to hit it pretty straight. Heather's coming in pretty straight, but she ends up drifting right at the last second, and it just chops. Takes out the 2, and leaves the 8 standing. Coldwater picks up their spare. Ella leaves the 7-pin. Coldwater now, lane 15. That one leaves a 4-pin standing. Ella now, spare attempt. She's got it. Coldwater picks up their spare. Carly ended up leaving the 610. Coldwater leaving the 2-4. Carly picks up the spare. All right, a couple other unofficial scores here. Remember, these are unofficial. I've got Willard with 760, Galleon with 866, St. Mary's with 868, Swanton with 755, Perkins with 853, Crestline 734, Fort Recovery 811, Wauseon at 799, Eastwood at 692, and Lakota at 731. So it looks like right now, unofficially, we got Napoleon in first and Coldwater in second. Jalen leaving the 5-7 here. Coldwater left a 10 pin. And Jalen, nice pickup for the spare. And Coldwater misses their spare inside. All right, we should be back with audio. We had the batteries die. Ella with a strike on lane 16. Coldwater left a 7-pin on lane 15. Carly now comes in heavy but gets the carry for the strike. All right, slight correction from the earlier scores. I said Wauseon had 799. Wauseon actually had on the official score sheet 812. Fort Recovery is the one with 799. I reported that as 811. Jalen, that was a strike for her, or no, I'm sorry, that was a spare for her. Coldwater leaving a 10-pin. Yeah, I had gotten an unofficial set of scores from another team, and then they came out with the official score, so that was the only correction. They had the Fort Recovery and the Wauseon scores flip-flop. Coldwater can't pick up their spare on lane 15, loses it just to the right, pushes it a little bit. Spencer now, lane 16. Nice ball from Spencer for a strike. That's now 2 in a row from her. All the Lady Cats with marks in the 4th frame. Coldwater splits another one. The 4-7-10. Lane seems to be transitioning just a little bit. The ball is starting to pull up hard at the end. Coldwater picks up 2 out of the 3. Coldwater getting ready to close out their 4th frame. That's a good ball for Coldwater. There's a strike for their last bowler. Heather getting ready to start frame number 5 in the 2nd individual game. Nice ball, but leaves a solid 10-pin. Spencer now getting, or I'm sorry, Heather now getting ready to bowl her spare. And she covers that one. That's a spare for Heather. Coldwater's first bowler is up again, working on a spare in the fourth frame. And she gets a strike. Ella now for Napoleon. And that one came up hard, but it carried through for the strike for Ella. Coldwater's second bowler. Strike for her. Carly now up for the Lady Cats. Oh, can't get the 7-pin to fall. That was a good looking ball. Coldwater's third bowler drifts high, leaves a 10-pin. Carly now, spare attempt coming. She's got it. Coldwater picks up their 10-pin spare. Jalen now, lane 15. There's a strike for Jalen. Coldwater with a nice ball for a strike from their fourth bowler. Spencer now, lane 15, close out the fifth frame. There's a strike for her. That's now 3 in a row for Spence. All right, Heather up now, 6th frame. Yep, we'll get the Coldwater bowler first. Lane 15. She's working on a spare in the 6th frame. Heather's got a strike in the 6th frame. Coldwater comes in a little light, gets 5. Heather now. And now she can't get the 7-pin to fall. Good ball. Heather's bowling really solid today. Coldwater picks up their spare. Heather now, spare attempt. Heather picks up her spare. Getting some cheers going up from the girls now. The excitement's starting to get a little more tangible. Coldwater leaving the 4-7. Ella now, lane 16. And there's a strike from Ella. Ella with 4 strikes in a row now in this second game. Coldwater, spare attempt. They got it. Carly now for Napoleon. Another nice strike for Carly. She's got that right lane kind of figured out. Strike for Coldwater. That was their third bowler. Jalen now, lane 16. Ends up leaving a 4-pin. Coldwater's fourth bowler, leaving a solid 10-pin. Jalen, spare attempt. She's got it. Nice ball. Coldwater picks up their 10-pin. Spencer now, lane 16. And there's a strike for her. Gets a late hit on the 10-pin to take it down. Spencer now with 4 strikes in a row as well. Coldwater leaves a 10-pin. And Coldwater makes the spare. Heather now working on a spare in the 7th frame. Coldwater also in the 7th frame, working on spare. And a strike for Coldwater. Heather now, her ball's away. And another solid 10-pin for Heather. Coldwater gets them all to fall. That's a strike for them with their second bowler. Heather, another spare. Keep it up. Coldwater's third bowler now. Drifts left of the head pin, leaves the 1, 3, 6, 9. Gets 6. Ella now. That one's coming in light. Leaves the 2, 4, 5, 7. Coldwater, spare attempt. Nicely picked up. Ella now, spare attempt. Oh, she came in a little light, gets 2, leaves the 4-7. Coldwater leaving the 2-5. Had a pin slide right between them, didn't bother to take out either one. Carly with a nice strike. That's 2 in a row now for her. Coldwater, nice cover on that spare. Jalen now working on a spare from the last frame. Solid 10 pin. Coldwater leaving a 3-10. Little baby split. Jalen loses that one, pushes it off to the right. Coldwater, nice cover there on the 3-10. Spencer now to close out the 7th frame. Starts that one wide. Comes back though for the strike. That's now 5 strikes in a row for Spencer. Heather now starting the 8th frame for Wildcats. Leaving the 4-7. Coldwater gets a strike. That's 2 strikes in a row for that bowler. Heather, spare attempt. Picks it up. Solid spare shooting from Heather today. And every day. Coldwater leaving a 10 pin on lane 15. Ella up now, lane 16. And Ella leaves a solid 10 pin. Coldwater picks up the 10 pin. Now Ella will make her 10 pin conversion. Oh, she pushed it, leaves it out to the right. Coldwater's 3rd bowler. Strike for her. Carly now, lane 16, comes in a little light, leaves the 2-4-8. Coldwater, nice ball for a strike, lane number 15, that was their fourth bowler. Carly, nice spare there. Picks that one up. Coldwater, 4-pin falls late, but it does fall for the strike. Jay up now for the Lady Cats. Leave a 10-pin. Jay, spare ball. That one's on target for the spare. Spencer now closing out the 8th frame. And another solid 10-pin. Spare attempt, picks it up. All right, moving into the 9th frame. Second individual game. Coldwater up first, lane 16. She's working on 2 strikes. One's in the 7th and the 8th. And I'd make that 3 in a row for Coldwater. Heather now, lane 15 for the Lady Cats. There it is, strike for Heather. Can I get a hoo-ah? Coldwater leaving a 10-pin on lane 16. Ella now for the Lady Cats. That one drifts high, splits, leaving the 6, 7, 10. Coldwater picks up their spare. Ella, spare attempt now. Oh, she almost picked that up. Nicely tried, or nice attempt there by Ella. Gets 2 out of the 3. Coldwater leaving a 3-9, picks up 8. Carly now up on lane 15 for the Lady Cats. Nice ball for a strike from Carly. Coldwater with a nice spare there, picking up the 3-9. Jalen now for the Napoleon, lane 15. Nice ball there for a strike for Jalen. Coldwater got 7 on their first attempt, leaving the 2-4-8. Spencer now for Napoleon, lane 15. That one drifted high at the last second, leaving a 6-pin. Coldwater picking up 1 out of the 3. Spencer covers the spare. Coldwater drifting high, Brooklyn strike. Heather with a strike in the 9th. Gets ready to start the the 10th frame in the second individual game. And a strike for Heather to start things off in the 10th. Coldwater, their first bowler, they've got 3 strikes in the working. And she'll add a 4th to start the 10th. Heather, second ball. And another strike. 4-pin just kind of kept nudging the 7 until it went down. And another strike for Coldwater. That's 2 for her in the 10th. Heather now, last ball in the 10th. And another strike. That's 3 in a row now. And Heather finishes with a 201. Coldwater, their first bowler, finishes with 3 strikes in the 10th as well. And she finishes with a 236. Ella picks up 9, leaves the 6-pin. Coldwater's second bowler starts the 10th frame, and they start out with a strike. Ella picks up the spare. Coldwater's second bowler gets ready for her second ball in the 10th. Ella gets ready for her final ball of the 10th. Coldwater gets 6, leaves the 2, 4, 8. Ella gets 9, leaving the 10 pin, and she'll finish with a 188. Coldwater, last ball, 10th frame for the third bowler, or second bowler, I'm sorry. Picks up 3 out of her 4 and she'll finish with a 173. Carly with a strike to start the 10th frame. That's 2 in a row now for her. Coldwater's third bowler starts out the 10th with a strike. Carly picks up 9, leaving the 2 pin. Coldwater picking up 8, leaving the 3, 9. Carly now, spare attempt. She picks it up, and she'll finish with, I believe, a 215. Yep, 215. And Coldwater picks up their spare, and she'll finish with a 176. Jalen, the 7 pin goes down. That's a strike for her to start the 10th. Coldwater, a little high on their attempt, leaves the 3, 6. Jalen's second ball in the 10th. Comes in heavy, but it carries for another strike. Looked like it was going to be a 6-7 split, but they go down. Coldwater picks up their spare. Jalen now, last ball in the 10th. And she picks up 9. So she'll finish with a 191. Coldwater's fourth bowler starts out the 10th with a strike. Spencer now starting the 10th. She's got a spare working in the 9th. And she leaves the 10 pin, solid 10. Coldwater's fifth bowler starts the 10th with a strike. She's got 3 in a row now, including the 1 in the 10th. Spencer now, spare ball. Oh, and she pulled that one, misses inside. Spencer finishes with a 203. So Napoleon with an unofficial total of 998 in the second game. And Coldwater's last bowler finished with a 201. The one before that was a 158. I have an unofficial score for Coldwater of 944. So right now I've got Napoleon with 2005 after 2 games and Coldwater with 1892. Remember, these are unofficial numbers. As soon as I get the official score sheet, we'll update everybody. All right, we're going to get ready to start the third game. Heather's already at the line. And a 7-pin. She gets 9 to start. Coldwater now, lane 15. That one comes back to the pocket, but it leaves the 7-pin. Heather with a routine spare. Coldwater now. Oh, that one comes out of the gutter. It'll be a scoring correction. Ella with a strike on lane 16. Nice ball from Ella. Coldwater, second bowler's up. And they leave a 7-pin. Carly now for Napoleon. And leaves the 4-pin. Coldwater, spare attempt. It breaks right at the end, picks it up. Carly now, her spare attempt. A little more of a direct route, picks that one up. Coldwater's third bowler. That one drifted a little high, ends up leaving a 4-7. Now we got Jalen for the Lady Cats. And a strike for Jalen. Coldwater picks up their spare. That'll bring up Spencer. Steps on the approach. Lets that one go. And a strike. Can I get a hoo-wah? Coldwater drifts high. They leave the 3-6-10. Coldwater, spare attempt. Starts that one out wide. It won't come back. Picks up 2 out of the 3. Coldwater to finish out the first frame. Last individual game comes in light. Ends up leaving the 1-2-7. Nice spare conversion from Coldwater, picking that 1-2-7 up. Heather up. And as it's been pointed out in the chat, yes, she is a senior. Heather lets that one go. And another solid 10-pin left for Heather. Coldwater leaving a 2-4-5, gets 7. Heather now, spare conversion, picks that one up. Ella up now. Lets that one go. Good pocket hit. Won't drop the 10-pin. Coldwater picks up their spare. Ella now trying to convert the 10-pin. That one's on target. Picks it up. Coldwater now comes in high, it splits, leaving the 4-6-7. Carly up now for the Lady Cats. That one drifts a little high. She gets a late tap, the 6-pin goes down, she gets the strike. Cries of hoo-wah go up from the crowd. Coldwater picks up 2 out of the 3. Now we got Jalen. Jalen comes in a little light, leaves a 2-4-5-8 bucket. Coldwater, nice ball for a strike for them on lane 16. That was their third bowler. Jalen, spare conversion. And she picks up 2 out of the 3. It drifts a little high at the last minute. Coldwater leaving a 2-7. Spencer now, bottom of the second frame. Comes in high, leaves the 3-6. Coldwater picks up 1. Coldwater with the strike. Spencer now, spare conversion upcoming. Oh, she chops, picks up the front pin. Only gets 1. These lanes, you really got to watch your speed. If you let it drop just a little bit, it breaks hard right at the end. Coldwater now, their first bowler, working on a spare in the second, leaving a 10 pin. Heather working on a spare in the second as well. Lets that one go. And that one leaves an 8 pin. Coldwater picks up their spare. Heather, another spare. A strike for Coldwater. That was their second bowler. Ella now, lane 16. And she leaves the 10 pin. Nice ball there from Coldwater for a strike on lane 15. Ella now, spare a conversion. That one's on target, got it. Spare shooting so critical in bowling. Strikes are exciting, but spares, that's where it's at. Coldwater with a strike on lane 15. Carly now, lane 16. Leaving a 7 pin. And a 7-pin left from Coldwater on lane 15. Carly now lines up for her 7-pin. And she picks that up. All right, we've got the official score sheet now after the second game. Coldwater picks up their spare there. We've got Napoleon in the lead with 2005. Coldwater in second with 1892 with a 944 game. St. Mary's in third with an 872 second game with 1740. Then we have Perkins had a 781 and a 1634 total. Wauseon is in fifth with an 811 with 1623 total. Willard with 816 and a 1576 total. Fort Recovery 755 and a 1554 total. Swanton 798 with a 1553. Galleon 671 with a 1537. And then Crestline, Eastwood, and Lakota rounding out the field. Jalen missing a 7-pin. Spencer now up, bottom of the third frame, last individual game. And a strike for Spencer. Heather up now, lane 15. And leaves a 10-pin. Heather picks up the spare. Ella up now. And Ella leaves a 7-pin. Wauseon is 117 pins below the cut line. Perkins is 106 pins below the cut line. Carly with a strike. Ella had picked up the spare before that. Swanton is 187 pins back of the cut line. Coldwater picks up their spare on lane 16. Now we've got Jalen. Jalen drifts a little high, leaves a 610. Coldwater's fourth bowler with her second strike in a row. Jalen picks up her spare. Coldwater, last bowler with a strike, close out the fourth frame. Spencer now coming up to close out the fourth frame for the Wildcats. And with a strike, nicely done. That brings Heather up to start the fifth frame. Coldwater's first bowler leaves a solid 10 pin. Now Heather. And she gets the tap out of the gutter to take out that nasty 10 pin, and she gets the strike. Well, now we got Ella up. Coldwater picked up their spare. Ella gets a little help taking out the 7 pin, leaving just the 10. Coldwater drifting a little high, leaves a 6 pin. Ella, spare attempt. Got it. Coldwater picks up their spare. Carly now for the Lady Cats. And another 10 pin left. That one drifts a little high for the Coldwater team player, leaving the 610. Carly now, spare attempt. And it holds, she picks it up. Coldwater picks up 1 out of the 2. Started it just outside, it didn't come back. Jalen now, lane 16. And she leaves a 2-8, comes in a little bit light. Nice ball from Coldwater for a strike on lane 15. That's 3 in a row now for her. Jalen picks that up. Nicely done. Coldwater. Looks like a 310. Now Spencer's up. She's got 2 strikes working. That one drifts high, leaves a 610. And Coldwater picks up 1. Spencer now, spare attempt. She's got it. Heather now up, lane 15. Working on a strike. And she leaves a 4-pin. Coldwater leaves the 10-pin. And Heather picks up the spare. Coldwater now, spare attempt. And she picks that one up. Ella now. Her ball drifts left, Brooklyn, but it's a strike. Wrong side, strong side. Ooh, oh yeah. All right, strike for Coldwater on lane 16. Now Carly. That one drifts high, leaves the 4-7. And another strike from Coldwater. Carly now, spare attempt, got it. Coldwater's 4th bowler's up. She's got 3 strikes in a row. Make that 4 in a row now. Jalen now. And she gets the strike. Coldwater with another strike from their 5th bowler. That brings up Spencer. We're finishing up the 6th frame now in the 3rd individual game. That one drifts a little high. She gets some help, takes out the 7-pin late, leaving just the 6. Makes it a much easier spare. Oh, Spencer pushes that one, misses it to the right. Now Heather McMahon. Starting out our 7th frame in the last individual game. And there's a strike for Heather. Coldwater leaves the 4-pin. Now we've got Ella. Ella working on strike from last frame. That one comes in a little light, leaves the 2-4-5. She gets 7. Oh, that Coldwater ball broke real hard at the end and missed their spare. Ella now picks up the spare, nicely done. Coldwater now, lane 15. There's a strike for her, nice ball. Carly now up on lane 16 for the Lady Cats. That one comes in heavy. Gets 9. Looks like the 9-pin left standing. Another strike for Coldwater. That's another nice looking ball for them. Their second and third bowlers, both with 2 strikes in a row now. Carly, spare attempt. She's got it. And another strike for Coldwater. That's their 4th bowler. She's now at 5 strikes in a row. Jalen with a strike for Napoleon. That's 2 in a row for her. Coldwater just high on that one, leaves the 6-10. Spencer leaves a solid 10-pin. Coldwater, spare attempt. Gets it by the back door. Slid the 6 off the wall, back into the 10. Spencer now 10-pin conversion. Nicely done. Heather now starting the 8th frame. That one broke hard at the end, came up heavy, leaves the 6-10. Looked like a good line, maybe just needed a touch more speed. Coldwater with a strike from their first bowler. Oh, Heather misses. Let that one drift just a little bit too far right, and it didn't break and come back. Coldwater's second bowler now, working on 2 strikes. Hits heavy, leaves the 4-7. Ella up now for the Lady Cats. It looks like Ella's going to let the Coldwater bowler finish out her frame. Ella's still waiting on pins. Coldwater, spare attempt. Broke hard at the end. She only picks up 1. Ella. That one broke hard at the end, but she gets a little help. Takes out the 6-pin for the strike. Looked like the 4-pin rolled over there and said, 6-pin, you're coming down. Coldwater hitting heavy, leave the 6-10. Carly up now. Carly with a big strike. Coldwater, spare attempt coming. She picks that up. Jalen now, 2 strikes in a row, looking for a third. There it is. 3 in a row now for Jalen. Coldwater up. Comes in light, leaves the 1-2. Gets 8. Spencer now, work on a spare in the previous frame. And there's a strike for Spencer. All right, coming into the critical 9th frame. Coldwater finished that frame with a spare. That was their 4th bowler. They got a 5th bowler. They got to complete the 7th frame. And she leaves the 10-pin. Good looking pocket hit, just doesn't carry. Coldwater's 10-pin spare attempt. Right there on it, picks it up. This has been a fun match to watch. Both teams with lots of energy. Making lots of strikes and lots of spares. Heather now, 9th frame. Comes in heavy, leaves the 6-9-10. Coldwater's 9th frame, first bowler. And a strike for her. That's 2 in a row now for her. Heather now, spare conversion. Got it. She'll have a spare moving into the 10th frame. Coldwater gets the strike from their second bowler. Ella up now, lane 16. Coming off the strike in the last frame. And another strike for Ella. That's 2 in a row now. Coldwater's third bowler up. She gets the 10 pin to fall. That makes that a much easier spare, leaving just the 4-7. Carly up now for Napoleon. And a strike for Carly. And Coldwater picks up their spare over on lane 15. Jalen now 3 strikes in a row. 9th frame. Nice ball. 7 pin goes down from the strike. Coldwater's 4th bowler. Hits a little heavy, but it carries. Gets a strike. Spencer now working on the strike from the previous frame. And another strike from Spencer. Coldwater gets 9, leaving a 10 pin. Napoleon coming on strong late. Coldwater also bowling well. Coldwater just misses that spare attempt inside. All right, Heather getting ready to start frame number 10, last individual game. Heather needs a 1 time, but first we got Coldwater. Coldwater leaving an 8 pin on a good looking ball. All right, Heather, 1 time here. Another solid 10 pin. I think there might have been a pin missing in that rack. So she'll get another attempt. Coldwater picks up the spare. Heather lets it go. Comes in a little light. She ends up leaving the 2-4-5. Coldwater finishes up with 8. She finishes with a, looks like a 182. They're still working on Heather's score here. There, it looks like it's correct. Well, nope, not yet. Coldwater gets 9. Looks like they leave the 3-pin. All right, Heather's spare attempt coming in the 10th. Oh, she pulled that one. Picks up 1. And she'll finish the last game with a 170. Coldwater, spare attempt. And they pick it up. Now Ella for the Lady Cats. Oh, leaves the 5-7. Coldwater drifts high, leaves the 3-6-10. They'll finish with a 178. Ella can't pick up the spare. She'll finish with a 193. Coldwater's third bowler starts the 10th with a strike. Carly starts the 10th with a strike. That's 3 in a row now for Carly. Coldwater leaving the 4-pin. Carly leaving a 4-pin. Oh, and Coldwater just misses their spare, and they'll finish with a 199. Carly, spare attempt, picks that up. She'll finish with a 216. Coldwater starts with 9 in the 10th, leaving the 6-pin. Now we got Jalen. Good looking ball, but it leaves a solid 10. Coldwater picks up their spare. They'll get one more in the 10th. Jalen's spare attempt. Holds on. She'll get one more. Coldwater's fourth bowler, last ball, picks up the strike, and they'll finish with a 216. Jalen's ball in there for a strike, and she finishes with a 204. Coldwater, last bowler, starts the 10th with a strike. Jalen up, or I'm sorry, Spencer up now. Spencer's got 2 strikes working. That one drifts high, ends up leaving the 3-6-10. Coldwater gets 7, leaving the 6-9-10. Yeah. Thank you. All right, I've got some other unofficial team scores. Remember, these are unofficial. I've got Willard game 3 with an 835. I've got Galleon with an 817 in the 3rd game. St. Mary's with a 787 in game 3. Swanton. Oh, hang on. Am I doing game 3 or am I game? Hang on. Let me look back. So Willard 835, Galleon 817, St. Mary's, yeah, 787. Swanton had a 908 in game 3. Perkins with a 903 unofficially in game 3. And Crestline with an 809. So right now, unofficially, we're still waiting on scores from Wauseon, Fort Recovery, Eastwood, and Lakota. I've got Perkins moving up into the number 3 spot, ahead of St. Mary's by 10 pins. I've got Napoleon still in the lead, 29.79, and Coldwater still in second at 28.42. Remember, these are unofficial scores. All right, it looks like there'll be no break again today. We're going to move right on into the Bakers, I think. All right, I've got Napoleon, their last game, game 3 was 974, and Coldwater was 950. So I've got Napoleon with a total of 29.79, and Coldwater 28.42. These are unofficial scores. All right, Heather starts out the Bakers with a strike for Napoleon. Coldwater now leaves a 10 pin. Ella leaving the 4-pin, gets 9. Coldwater picks up their spare. Ella now, spare attempt. Nice ball for a spare from Ella. Coldwater, that ball broke a ton. Ends up getting 5. Carly up now on Napoleon. Nice shot for a strike for Carly. Coldwater picks up the spare. Nicely done. Jalen with a strike. Nice ball. 2 in a row now for Napoleon. Coldwater now. That one drifts a little high, leaves the 6-pin. Got Spencer up now in the number 5 slot. That ball comes in heavy, splits, leaving the 6, 7, 10. Coldwater ends up losing that one. Pushes it out to the right. Misses the spare conversion. Spencer may give this conversion a try. May try to cut the 6-pin thin and slide it back across into the 7. Coldwater hits a little bit heavy, leaves the 9-pin. All right, Spencer up. Nope, she misses both pins inside. Coldwater picks up their spare. Heather now back up, 6th frame. And another strike for Heather. Coldwater with a strike just a moment ago. Ella hitting a little bit heavy, leaving the 6-10. Coldwater. Good looking ball for a strike. Ella now, spare attempt. That one's on target, picks it up. Coldwater, 6th frame. Comes in a little light, ends up leaving the 2-5. Carly now. Another strike for Carly. Need another hoo-ah. There it is. Coldwater picks up their spare. Now we got Jalen. Jalen hits a little light, leaves the 2-pin, gets 9. Coldwater picks up 7, leaving the 1-3-9. Jalen picks up the spare. Spencer, starting the 10th. Started out with a strike. Coldwater spare attempt. Nicely done. Coldwater coming in a little heavy, leaving the 6-10. Spencer gets lucky, ends up leaving just the 4-7. Looked like it was going to be the 4-6-7-10. Coldwater picks up their spare. Coldwater swings that one out wide. It won't come all the way back. Gets the 7-pin to fall late, leaving just the 1-2. Spencer picks up the spare. And Napoleon finished the first Baker game with a 191. Coldwater picks up their spare in the 9th frame. They'll move on to the 10th. Coldwater gets a strike in the 10th. All right, I've got some more unofficial scores here. In the 3rd game, it looks like Wauseon with an 899. Fort Recovery with an 832. Eastwood with a 673. And Lakota with a 664. And Coldwater finishes the first Baker with a 176. All right, so unofficially after 3, I've got Napoleon, Coldwater, and Perkins in the top 3 slot. 10 pins back is St. Mary's. Wauseon is 15 pins back of the cut line. Then we have Swanton. They're an additional All right, Jalen just got a spare in the 9th frame. This is still the second Baker game. Spencer gets 9, leaves a 10 pin. Coldwater finished the second Baker game with a 168. Spencer gets the spare. Spencer, last ball. And she gets 9, leaves the 10 pin. And Napoleon finishes with a 167. Well, it wouldn't be a live stream if we didn't have issues with the internet connection or a cellular connection. All right, getting ready to start Baker game number 3. We got Heather leading off. And a strike for Heather. Coldwater leaves a 6 pin. They start out with 9. If you can hear me out there, give me a thumbs up. Let me know we're back and transmitting. Had a cable work itself loose and the device went dead. We got Abby in here now in the second spot. She got 9 in the first ball, left a 6 pin and picks it up. Abby Detmer, she's one of our seniors. Coldwater now, second ball. Broke a ton, picks up 6. Leaves the 1-3, 6-9. Carly leaving the 2-4-5-8 bucket. Picks up 6. Coldwater picks up 9, leaves the 7 pin. Jalen picks up 9. Or I'm sorry, 8. That's a 2-8 down there. Coldwater picks up their spare. Jalen with a nice spare on the 2-8. I see in the chat that the audio is a little bit ahead of the video. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. That's more of a cellular bandwidth issue. Hopefully that will level itself out here. Coldwater just picked up a strike. Spencer now, 5th frame. Gets 9, leaves a 7. All right, Spencer just waiting on a bowler to her right, ready to make her spare conversion. And she picks that up. Coldwater now their 5th bowler. Nice ball for a strike from them. That's 2 in a row now for Coldwater. Heather now, 6th frame, leaving a 4 pin. Heather, spare attempt. She's got it. Coldwater had got 7 their first ball. Left the 1-2-4. Spare attempt. Picks it up. Now we got Abby Detmer back up. And a strike for Abby. She's our senior. Coldwater leaving the 4-7, picks up 8. Carly now. Strike for Carly. That's 2 in a row now for Napoleon. Jalen tries to tap the 4, but it won't go down. She gets 9. Coldwater picks up 1 out of the 2. Jalen misses the 4 pin. Coldwater coming in light, splits, leaving the 2-4-10, or yeah, 2-4-10. Spencer coming up in the 10th frame. And a strike for Spencer. Coldwater picks up 2 out of the 3. Spencer with another strike. 2 in a row in the 10th. Coldwater, 9th frame, comes in heavy, leaves the 6-10. Spencer, last ball, 3rd Baker. And she comes up heavy, leaves the 3-6-10, gets 7, and they finish with a 196 in the 3rd Baker. Coldwater picks up the spare in the 9th. Thank you. Yeah. Coldwater with a strike in the 10th. And they come in light, leave the 1-2-4-10. And they pick up 2, and they'll finish with a 166. Heather starts out the 4th Baker game with a strike. And Abby with a strike on the Brooklyn side. Coldwater starts out with a strike. Carly with a strike for Napoleon. That's 3 in a row now. Carly gets 9, leaves the 6 pin. Coldwater getting 8, leaving the 610. Coldwater picks up their spare. That was Jalen picking up her spare in the 4th frame. Strike for Coldwater in the 3rd. Coldwater picks up their spare. Spencer picks up the strike. All right, it looks like we may have angered the internet gods, but hopefully we've appeased them. Heather with 9 in the 6th frame, picks up the spare. Napoleon with all marks so far. This is the 4th Baker game. We went strike, 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 first 3 frames. 9 spare strike in the 4th and 5th. And then a 9 spare in the 6th. That brings us back up to Abby. Abby picks up the strike. Coldwater with 7, leaving the 3-6-10. Their spare upcoming. Carly picks up 9, leaves a 7 pin. All right, now Coldwater's ready for their spare attempt. And she picks it up. Carly picks up the spare. Coldwater got an 8 in the 6th or 7th frame, leaving the 6-10. And they pick up their spare. Jalen now coming up for the 9th. And a strike for Jalen. And a strike for Spencer. Coldwater with a spare in the 9th. Spencer, second ball, 10th frame. And she gets a strike. Coldwater now, 10th frame. They start out with a strike. Spencer, last ball. And leaves the 4-pin. They finish with a 238 in the 4th Baker game. Coldwater with a 7, leaving the 6-7-10 split. Coldwater's last ball. And they don't pick up any more. They finish with a 191. They'll switch for the 5th Baker. Heather starts out with 8. Heather loses that one, pushes it to the right. Coldwater picks up their spare. Abby now hits Brooklyn for a strike. Coldwater gets 9, leaves a 10-pin. Carly with a strike for Napoleon. 2 in a row now. Coldwater picks up their spare in the second frame. Coldwater leaves a 4-pin. Jalen with a strike for Napoleon. 3 in a row now. Coldwater picks up their spare. Spencer up now. And a strike for Spencer. 4 in a row now for Napoleon. Coldwater drifts a little heavy, leaves the 6-9-10.
I told my wife, I said, I'm in this, all right, that's enough. We got to get this. I said, I got to get more stuff now. She's kind of looks at me, shakes her head.
Heather leaving the 7-10 split. We'll try to get 1 here. Picks up the 10. So she gets 1. Coldwater, 5th bowler. Picks up the strike. Abby leaving a 4-7-10 split. Coldwater back up to the top of the order. Comes in a little bit heavy, leaves the 4-7. Abby picks up 1. Coldwater picks up their spare. And there's a strike for Carly. Coldwater gets them all to fall for a strike. Coldwater with another strike. Nice ball there. 2 in a row now for them. Jalen up. Working off the strike from the previous frame. And another strike for Jalen. 2 in a row now for the Wildcats. Spencer up now. Comes in light, leaves the 2-8. Coldwater, fourth bowler. Comes in light, leaves the 2-7. Nice pickup from Spencer. Coldwater picking up. Says 8, but it looks like 9 unless there's one hidden in there. Oh. There might be a scoring correction coming then. Looks like it might have went down. Spencer with 9, leaving the 6 pin. That's another 199 game for Napoleon. Or I should say a 199 game for Napoleon. We're waiting for the pin to reset. That's what it is on Coldwater's side. And a nice pickup by Coldwater, picking up the 2-7. Sorry. Coldwater comes in heavy, picks up 7. And they will start the 10th frame, leaving the 3-6-10. All right, I've got official totals after. It's interesting. After 3 Bakers, we've got Napoleon in the lead with 35-33. Coldwater right behind at 33-52. Willard is now in 3rd place at 30-93. Wauseon has moved up into the number 4 slot, 43 pins below the cut line at 30-50. Coldwater picked up that spare. Perkins is now in 5th with 30-23. And then St. Mary's at 29.91. And then we've got Swanton, Galleon, Fort Recovery, Crestline, Eastwood, and Lakota. All right, so Coldwater finished with a 197 that Baker game. Coldwater getting ready to start the last Baker game. Starts out with a 9, leaving the 10 pin. And a strike from Heather to start things off. Can I get a hoo-ah? And Abby gets 9, leaves the 10 pin. Abby picks up the spare. Carly now. That hits heavy, leaves the 3 pin. Coldwater left a 7 pin. They'll try to pick that up. And they do. Carly picks up the spare. And there's a strike from Coldwater. Jalen up now for Napoleon. And a strike for Jalen. Coldwater left with a split, leaving the 410. Spencer now up, frame number 5, leaving the 4-7. And Coldwater picks up 1. Spencer pulls that one, picks up 1. Coldwater getting 9, leaving the 10 pin. Heather leaving the 3-6-10. And Heather picks up 2 out of the 3. Coldwater picks up their 10-pin. And Abby comes in light, leaves the washout 1-2-4-10. Coldwater with a strike over on lane number 16. That was in the 7th frame. Abby picks up 3 out of the 4. Just misses the head pin. Jay gets 8. Or I'm sorry, that's not Jay, that's Carly. Carly gets 8, leaving the 4-7. Coldwater picks up their spare. That's their 8th frame. Carly gets 1. Ball broke hard at the last second. Coldwater with 8 left the 4-9. Jalen gets 9, leaving the 7-pin. Coldwater just missing the spare attempt. Jalen picks up the 7-pin. Coldwater starts their 10th with a 6-9-10 split, or I'm sorry, 6-9-10, not a split. Spencer missing a 9-pin on that rack, so she'll re-rack. Spencer ready, starting the 10th. And she comes up heavy, leaves the 6-10. Coldwater picks up the spare. They'll get 1 more. Spencer picks up the spare. Coldwater gets 8. And they'll finish with a 161 in the final baker. Spencer, last ball. And she gets a strike. And they'll finish their last baker with a 152. So unofficially, I have a total of 41-22 for Napoleon and 39-01 for Coldwater. All right, we're waiting for other teams to finish up. and then I'll come back for the announcement. We'll leave the live stream run, but I'll turn the audio off until we're back.